Hey everyone, welcome back to part 2 of the most influential musicians in Geometry Dash history. Before I start this video, I just want to give some context to fill you in on the backstory of this part 2 thing. So, back a few weeks ago when I released my video on the most influential musicians in Geometry Dash history, many of you commented that my choices were unsatisfactory and that there were other artists that I should have put on the list over my picks. Now, I do still stand by all my selections in that video, but I do acknowledge that some of the artists could have been swapped with some more important, more influential ones. So, due to popular request, I decided that I would make a part 2, where I just list off 10 additional artists instead of 15 that I think were worthy of also being named some of the most influential in GD history. I am definitely not always the biggest fan of part 2 videos, and I usually like to present everything in one neat package, but due to popular request, I decided I would tie up the loose ends. Now, as I said in my original video, the list I made for the script was over 40 artists long, and I obviously had to shorten it to make sure that the video wasn't too lengthy. Keeping this in mind, there will probably be some more artists out there that could have been on this list that I chose not to include, and please peacefully share your thoughts in the comments instead of telling me I'm wrong. With all that out of the way, I think it's time we dive into my most requested video ever, the most influential musicians in GD history, part 2. The first entry on this list is an artist that made their name through countless hit songs that have now been integrated into every aspect of the community. Boss Fight, though they haven't been as active in late 2.1, has become a community favorite artist for their intense songs and catchy melodies. They made their name in 1.9 with hits like Be Gone Mr. Gone, which had catchy electro chiptune pulse melodies that stormed Geometry Dash. However, this would in no way be where their influence halted. In 2.0, songs like Okiba Crackdown, Milky Ways, Starship Showdown, Captain Cool, Wobbly Tooth Crunchy Apple, Elevation, and many more were used in countless levels, some of them even the most famous in the game's history. For example, Okiba Crackdown was used in Dear Nostalgist by Triaxis, and Milky Ways was used in Ultra Drivers by Laser Blitz. Many of their other songs have been used in famous and non-famous levels, and a large number of their music has solidified itself as community favorites. Everyone remembers and covets Boss Fight to this day, and that's why they are one of the most influential musicians in GD history. Up next is the juicy new wave EDM artist Coldbreaks. Coldbreaks has always been a community favorite for their awesome melodies, samples, and drops. Their most famous song is probably 10,000, a massive hit that has been used in huge levels like Hypersonic by Viprin and Player vs. Creator. This song is getting close to reaching 2 million views on YouTube, as it is at 1.7 right now, and this means that it is one of the biggest songs in GD history. They have had countless other hits on top of this, with songs like 2011, Gourmet Race, 15,000, Mind Control, Rampage, Goodbye, 30,000, 40,000, and 50,000, all having hundreds of thousands of views. This is no exclusive list by any means, though, and most of their songs have over 100k views on YouTube. Though they might not have had their music used at as many big levels as some other artists, you can be sure that they have had their fair share of exposure via the featured section and through 10,000, as nearly everyone in the community can recognize Coldbreaks and likely name 5 or more of their songs. Coldbreaks has undoubtedly already solidified themselves as a legend of GD, and though they haven't been as active recently, I am sure that their music from the past and from the future will continue to inspire and reign supreme throughout Geometry Dash. For my next pick, I chose Mecanico. Though not the most prominent artist in this day and age, Mecanico has had a huge history in this game. From his hit track Robot Language that was used in Insanity by Serpunch in 2.0 to his remix of Tak Pei Ki, he has had plenty of hits in this game. Songs like Space Magic, his Elevation remix, and Astro Soda have all been huge hits within the GD music fanbase. He also had his song Nano Love used in Bootiti 3 by Jonathan GD, and his song Milkshake being used in Bootiti 2, which are two of the biggest levels in this game's history. He is a well-known name throughout the community because of this, and though his newer tracks haven't been as huge as his old ones, his release of multiple new songs in the past few months suggests that he will be here to stay, and that we won't have to wait long until we see another one of his songs be used in another big level. Up next is a legend of flash games and side-scrollers, Paragon X9. Paragon has had a plethora of hits in Geometry Dash, and his songs are known religiously within the Geometry Dash community and within the communities of countless other games. His most famous songs are the series of Chaos tracks, which all follow a similar style and name. Of these, the most popular hit is Chaos Fantasy. He has countless other hit songs as well, with some of these examples being Polar 240, Infiltration, Hyperiox X, Red 13, Blue Marine, and loads more. Chaos Impact by Darwin used the song Chaos Impact by Paragon, and Gamma by Mindcap and More used Hyperiox X. There's a multitude of other levels that use his songs, like Chaos Airflow, Chaos Fantasy, Dorabay Basic 10, Breakthrough, and more. As you can see, Paragon's music dominated the early days of this game, and though his songs aren't as prominent today, we all remember this Legend of Geometry Dash music scene with a war heart. Though he doesn't make music anymore, Paragon X9 will go down in history as a legend of both Newgrounds and Geometry Dash culture. Next up is Boom Kitty. Boom Kitty started his rise to fame in 2.0 and 2.1, with songs like Mantis Shrimp Showdown and Badland making it into Gauntlet levels. Ever since, he has capitalized on the Geometry Dash music scene and doesn't plan to stop, as he has recently been streaming making new music and playing levels in GD songs, engaging with the Geometry Dash community. His tracks like Base Knight, Firewall, Saguaro, Tokyo Takedown, Stradagian, Pursuit, Komodo, Stomping Ground, Cord Cutter, 10077, Holy War, and Power Trip have all blown him up in the community. The most obvious instance of a famous level using his song is the third and final level in GD, Sub-Zero, which uses Power Trip as the song. Since then, that track has gained over 1 million views on YouTube. Famous extreme demons like Veloke by Sminx and more, and Plasma Pulse Finale by Smokes and Gyron also use his music, Holy War and 1077 respectively. Boom Kitty has undoubtedly established himself as a god of the GD music scene, and I cannot wait to see what he has in store for the fanbase next. My next choice for this list is Acid Notation. Acid Notation is known for their famous acid synths, crazy vocal samples, and intense drops. And throughout Geometry Dash history, their songs have been used and coveted nearly everywhere you look. They have had huge hits like the Yandere's Puppet Show, Accelerate, Digital Mayhem, Lights, Camera, Action, Malware, and plenty more, all be used in levels from top 10 demons to YouTube layouts. The most prominent example of a famous level using an acid notation song is Dorami's Extreme Demon Mega Collab, The Yandere, which uses his song The Yandere's Puppet Show. His songs have also been used in Psychosis by Heinz, Malware by Mr. Lorenzo, Hell by Serpunge, Furious Flames by Failure 444 and more, Grind Fury by Lugia and Heinz and more, though there are plenty of other famous levels that use his tracks. Though he hasn't been as musically active as he used to be, he has built an incredible repertoire that I'm sure Geometry Dash players will continue to pull from to make levels, and I'm sure he will make more tracks in the future that will inspire and create. For the next artist, I chose Dex Arson. Dex Arson is a huge name in the community music-wise, and he really managed to capitalize during 2.0 and 2.1. His songs have been used in countless Gauntlet levels, big community levels, and even some levels in Geometry Dash World. Levels like Rearmed by Kermal, Slap Squad by Dansman, Killer Zone by Dorami, Boss 3 Electro by Zendergame, Super Strike by Lemons, Hyperspace by Laser Blitz, Incipient by Jenkins, Fusion X by True Omega, and plenty more all use Dex Arson songs. There are also countless featured levels that use his songs, and even though he hasn't made as much of an impact in late 2.1, his sphere of influence is undeniably big. Considering all of this, it's no question that Dex is one of the most legendary artists to ever have their songs used in Geometry Dash. My next entry is the one and only The Fat Rat. The Fat Rat is just a huge artist in general, and it's no surprise that his works have come to Geometry Dash. Ever since 2.0, his songs have dominated the community, with hits like Windfall, Xenogenesis, Unity, The Calling, Fly Away, Time Lapse, and plenty more being some favorites. In 2.0 and early 2.1, there were countless featured levels that used his music, and on top of these, there is an impressive list of famous levels that also used his music. Two that stand out are Windy Landscape by Woogie and Unity by Triaxis and Funny Game, but some lesser known ones, but still big levels, are PZ World 2 by Doma Viku Love 26 and Verity by Serpunch. Everyone loves The Fat Rat, and though their songs aren't as big as they once were, we all remember the impact that this single artist had on this game. For the second to last artist, I chose X-Core. X-Core might not have as big an impact on the game as some other artists in this list, but I wanted to include him regardless for one reason: his song Event Horizon. Event Horizon is a massive hit song in Geometry Dash, and it has been used in the legendary levels Erebus by Rustem and Airwell, and Artificial Ideology by T-Men2, two incredibly famous demons for different reasons. With Artificial Ideology comes its 2.1 remake, Calculator Core, which has been praised to be one of the most well-organized, fun, and best-looking megas of 2.1. These are the three big ones, but there have been many other smaller demon levels and featured levels that use the song, like Event Horizon by Ancient Anubis and more. All in all, even though it's only been through this one song, X-Core has managed to make a large impact in GD culture and make himself one of the best artists of all time. And finally, last but not least, is Headkick. Headkick is by far one of the biggest artists in this game's history, and for good reason. Plenty of their songs on YouTube have exceeded 1 million views, and their music has been included in some of the biggest levels in GD, and even recognized by RobTop, the game's developer. The most obvious example of this is Falling Up by Kermal, which uses Headkick's hit song Time Leaper. Headkick has had multiple other hits also, like Outbreaker, Realms, Enna, Skystrike, Explorers, and more. Their music has also been used in YouTube layouts all across the platform, and there are featured levels and demons riddled throughout the server that also use their tracks. Not to mention that on top of this, the upcoming main level in Geometry Dash's Update 2.2 will use Explorers by Headkick as its song, which is about as big of an impact you can have. Considering all of this, there is no doubt in my mind that Headkick is one of the biggest artists in GD history. Well, there we have it. Part 2 of the most influential artists in Geometry Dash history. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Many of you asked for it, and so I delivered. I know it's not my best because it's just a part 2, but you guys seem to really want it, so I think it's okay. I tried to do a better job editing on this one compared to the last, as I got a few comments on how the editing was lackluster, and I took all your thoughts into consideration. Feel free to share your opinions on it in the comments. Also, thank you all again for the continued support and nice comments. It really makes my day that you all really enjoy my videos, and I want to keep making enjoyable content to continue the cycle. We hit 1.5k subs in the time of now on my last video, and the growth has been mind-blowing. With all that said, I want to thank you very much for tuning in, and I will see you all in the next video.